dribble.
The champ is here. I must be the greatest. The champ is here.
I'm going to continue to stand with the people.
The champ is here.
I will not lose.
I'm a bad man. I took up the world.
Yes, welcome. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here with we. My name is EJ, and I got my man.
MH.
Yes, he's the DB of the show, and we are Black in Sports, giving a voice to the culture that won't shut up and dribble. And today, we're bringing you back inside the locker room, man. This is a special locker room. So, MH, you ready to do this?
Yes, sir.
With that laugh, I know he's definitely ready to spit hot fire. So today's locker room, man, we're going to talk about, the new all-time three-point champion, man. So there's been a lot in the news. If you've been hiding under a rock, man, I mean, even if you're hiding under a rock, you should know about
you saw it.
You definitely saw it. There was coverage under that rock about this. But it started off with the house, and my man MH texted me. He's like, "Yo, EJ, I got a locker room episode." I was like, "What's up, man? What's popping?" He's like, "You saw he just broke the record." I was like, "Yeah, I saw it. It happened against the Knicks. I'm not gonna lay too much into that." But and so here we are, man. So how you want to start off, MH?
Congratulations, Steph. That's
So there, we'll start off with that, right? And then we'll take it from there. So a little hand clap for Steph, breaking the record. It's definitely one of those milestones. Very impressive.
for sure. I think it's definitely impressive anytime you break a record. And Steph Curry, to me, in my opinion, is like a top 10 NBA player of all time. He's a Mount Rushmore figure. He's done a lot for the evolution of the game.
Right? He definitely changed the game.
So there's no hate from me on this. However,
what?
I just thought the hype around this record was overblown and for a rather insignificant record when it comes to the grand scheme of NBA history.
Insignificant. Okay, so we'll start with that and we'll let you continue. But why is it insignificant?
I guess first of all, the record he broke Ray Allen's record.
Correct. He broke Jesus's record. He broke Jesus Shuttleworth's record.
However we want to call it. And the record is just 10 years old. Ray Allen broke that record 10 years ago, broke Reggie Miller's, whatever his 3-point mark was at the time.
Right.
And I just thought, when I kept seeing the chase for history or whatever, the timelines that were popping up, shout out to Rob Coons. I love Rob. Big shout Rob. I love Rob too. But he made a point like ESPN really spent money on a ticker for this for this record chase.
I had the graphics team putting in that extra time for the countdown, right?
And this whole
make sure the lower thirds were good, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking is he passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's all-time point record, or what's going on? I had to re-educate myself on what exactly the record was. And I'm like, 3-pointers, and this, in my opinion, I know it's worth points, and it's changed the game.
It's actually worth 3 points.
It's actually worth 3 points, but it's a subcategory, category of points. So why are we getting overblown this coverage of Steph Curry? And his parents were there. They made a special jersey. They stopped the whole game. Everybody had to bow down at mid-court, Madison Square Garden.
They stopped the extra long stop of the game. It wasn't just kind of like how they usually got the coach usually has to call a timeout.
Yeah, no, they just stopped the game. Everybody bowed down at the mid-court and saluted Steph. He hugging everybody in the stand. Man, this is, in my opinion, this is like Ricky Henderson's stolen base record. While it's great and it's an element of the game, I mean, it's not like the all-time home run record. There wasn't a long journey of this record has been in place for over 30 years and nobody's come close to it. It's just he beat it in half the games.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So isn't that a mark though? Isn't that saying hey, I did it in half the time? You know what I'm saying? You got Ray J who hit it first, but he did it he did it in half the time. You know what I'm saying? So
I didn't think Ray J was going to make an appearance on this one, but that's a very good analogy.
So I mean, isn't that any credit in that, right? Like, if it's the speed of things, right? Like we cut times and things like that. So he was able to accomplish a great feat in a shorter amount of time, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's that great feat. Why did he beat it half the time? I mean, obviously the evolution of the game, kind of helped, get to this record at an earlier pace than what Ray Allen did. I mean, there's a stat that I heard was Ray Allen shot 15 3-point attempts in the game 5 times in his career.
Okay.
Steph Curry has already done that 10 times just this year, right? So like the sheer volume of him shooting threes, surely, I mean, he's an above average shooter. Obviously, he's the best shooter of all time.
Yes.
He was going to break this record. I think like in year 2, 1 or 2 of him being in the league, if he figured out, hey, stop rolling your ankles, if he figured that out every 2 seconds that we already knew Steph Curry coming to the league was probably going to be close to that record, right?
His ankle game was that.
Boy,
so can we give him, like, is that a point of emphasis we can give him for overcoming like his ankles are trash?
I just don't. I don't see the significance of this record per se.
Okay.
If we needed a reason to quantify the greatness of Steph Curry, sure, whatever. This quantifies, but we didn't have to have this record of whatever it is to say Steph Curry is the best shooter of all time. We could just watch the game with our own eyes and say Steph Curry is the best of all time.
Well, yeah,
I guess if JJ Redick were to break this record and it wasn't Steph Curry, would it be as important? Would we stop the game for JJ Redick if he broke the record?
You know the answer to that.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. So Steph Curry's greatness is in his MVPs, in his championships. I think 3-pointers are a footnote in what his greatness is. It doesn't quantify him.
But I think if you're amongst greatness, right, everything's celebrated, right? So it's like, if you look at Elon Musk, right, like he changed the game for cars, and now the dude's going to space. So like now everything he does, like if he makes, if he brings back CDs, everybody's going to praise him for it because he brought it back, right? Like because he's accomplished heights. So maybe that's the thing with Steph, because he has accrued championships, beat out the GOAT LeBron for MVP when he probably shouldn't have. Things of that nature. You like the way I slid that in there too, right?
I did.
But maybe that's part of it, right? Like, because we love our heroes to be, unstoppable and great. So this is adding one more, shield to the, or one more ring to the, I don't even know that Avenger stuff, so I can't even.
Yeah, I mean, and if that's what it is, I'm good with that part. You know what I mean? Like, I think the more impressive feat about it is like, whenever he's done playing 5-6 years from now, whatever that number is, then I can say, wow, he would make 2,000 more shots than whoever's in second place, or whatever the case may, 3-pointers and who's ever in second place. And I think that part was like, oh, that to me is more celebrated. But December 14, 2021, I'm just like, yo, what's the significance of this record? Why are we hyping this record up so much? Are we just thirsty for another record? Like, what is this?
This is definitely something we take to the live, because I'd love to hear what what they got to say about this.
And I'm sure people would disagree.
That you think that he should be celebrated? You think people will say that he should be?
Yeah, I mean, I had this argument with my, Josh is a coach, and he thought I had a terrible take of what I felt about. I just didn't know the significance of this record. It's like, to me, like, and I'm not going to be disrespectful. It's going to come off disrespectful. Like, Deshaun Jackson, has he has like a record, or however you want to quantify it, of most touchdowns over 50 yards or something like that. It's just like, great, it's a touchdown.
It's a made category. Like, yeah. We're like, okay, let's look at all the numbers and like figure out what numbers we can put together that he's done that no one else has done, and we're gonna say that's great.
Correct. And so when I'm looking at 3-pointers, I'm like, yeah, it's a part of the game, right, but it's a subcategory. When I look at it, like, if you just look at stats on the back of a card, it's like, okay, if I'm looking at a player, it's like, okay, how many points? Yeah, that quantifies a great basketball player, points per game. Oh, he's a big man. He's got a lot of rebounds or a lot of blocks. Oh, he's a defender. Let me look at his steals. As a shooter, we look at what his 3-point percentage is, but we don't really be like, Shit, he made 200 threes last month. Like it's just like a subcategory. That's not. That's not how we quantify.
We used to, right? Like, come on, you don't remember when you used to get the Topps basketball card, and they had Danny Ainge, the sharpshooter card.
And I'm glad you said that, because again, when we look at records,
right,
this category of shooters, and this is no disrespect to Ray Allen and Reggie Miller, who are now second and third place.
Right.
But Ray Allen was like, oh, he even said this live on the pregame show where they brought Ray Allen out and he was on the court and he had to kiss Steph on his cheek. Oh, they passed the guard, whatever the case may be, man. But Ray Allen in the pregame said, they asked him, you know, how do you look at yourself as an all-time shooter? Do you feel like you're the greatest shooter of all time? Mm-hmm. He said, no, you know, I look at the shooters that I looked up to. Dell Curry, Dale Ellis. Great shooters. I think we could tell NBA history without them, right? Like they're not starters, right? This is not like I looked up to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I looked up to Michael Jordan. I looked up to Magic Johnson. I looked up to Larry Bird. I looked up to, Earl the Pearl Monroe. You can name other people like down the line that
was more influential.
Than no disrespect than Dale Ellis. Like
all the disrespected Dale Ellis right now.
So like the record itself, while this is not taken away from who Steph Curry is as a great basketball player. I just think the hype. I think the hype for his record was a little overblown. It's a stolen base record. I mean, come on.
So listen. All right. So how about the fact that he changed the game, though, right? So there is emphasis on him changing the game, right? Because, you know, the comparison, like everybody couldn't be Shaq, right? Like Shaq, we all watched, we saw Phenom, but you just don't have Shaqs coming around, right? Steph comes in, raggedy ankles and all, and changes the game. So now we talk about rec ball all the time, you know, kids at the rec ball shooting up ridiculous threes that used to get you put on the bench if you was shooting in school. Like you would shoot that shit, coach was like, nah, come sit next to me. So he changed that whole game to where now like people are taking shots like ridiculously, but getting good at it, right? So it's almost like Odell, right, who has been claimed with the person that changed with the one-handed catch. You know, growing up, you put two hands on the ball, like look the ball into your hands, catch the ball with two hands. Now it's like one hand is okay, and you practice one-hand catching drills. So now these cats are practicing half court and long ass, you know, unfundamental. This is now a fundamental of the game where you'll see a fast break happen, and instead of taking it to the lane, people are pulling up and shooting three-pointers. This guy changed the way the basketball is being played, and it's played outside in instead of inside out now.
And as Charles Barkley say, it could be either for the good or for the bad. You probably still should be sitting on the bench if you're taking a shot from half court. In a high school, you still probably should be sitting down because there's only one Steph Curry. And I guess Steph Curry has like they call him the baby face assassin, or you know, he has like the little, you know, kind of like he looks like us type of look to him. He's not us. He's 6'3", first of all. He could dribble. He has a rare kind of accuracy. Like he's not like anybody else. So let's please stop that.
But they're fooling you to think that. Like, I mean, he's more relatable to the average person than a LeBron James. Like
I personally don't think so. I mean,
you think there's more LeBron James playing basketball than there are?
I mean, how many people in this world can say my daddy played in the NBA? He's not very relatable to anybody, right? Let's just be real about this. This dude was he was playing one-on-one with Vince Carter when he was a kid. That's not relatable. Let's be real about it. This is, again, I'm not disrespecting Steph Curry. I just don't think he's that relatable when in the grand scheme of things. I do think he's had a more of a impact on winning than what Odell has. So I wouldn't put him in the Odell Beckham category because I think he's
only because I saw the face when I said Odell, and because like you and probably our listeners stopped listening. Like, what's this talking about? But listen, I am talking about the fundamental of a game. Like he changed the fundamental of the game, right? So once Odell started catching with one, him and Juice, even though I believe Juice was doing it far more and earlier, Juice just didn't. Jarvis Landry just didn't have the the
highlight wasn't light skin and with
See.
doing all the dance and stuff
and with good hair, right? That's what the last part you're gonna put on.
And made a play against the Cowboys. So yeah, and in New York. So there's a lot of things that happen for Odell in a positive way to help his brand.
And if we're seeing, so here's another connection, right? So he did it in New York, like that's big. And Steph Curry did it in New York, where he won the record against your Knicks.
Sure.
So in Madison Square Garden. So we're talking about like big places to do it. Like he may have even like stunned like, oh, hold on, because what he only needed 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, he could have got 2 in the last game. I mean, he's been shooting ridiculous. Like his shooting percentages went down because he's definitely chasing his record.
And that's great, but to my point is like I don't know why he would have to chase a record when it's inevitable. Like he was going to break that record. When he came into the league by year 2, he was like, "Oh, this dude has a chance to be the all-time leading 3-point shooter, and it's probably going to happen." Right? So, like I said, congratulations.
But we all said goals. So you saying that wasn't one that like you should have said?
No.
You're more saying that like, set a goal, but we didn't need a ESPN special, the ticker line, the the stoppage and the ticker tape parade during the game.
This is a hell of a question. I'm glad you brought me to this point. My little brother said this record is probably, in his opinion, more comparable to the passing yard record that Drew Brees eventually broke and Peyton Manning broke and stuff like that, and how the game has changed. And now you do more in football with the forward pass than maybe you do with the run game. Okay, I can understand that. And for that, I can kind of lean to the significance of the record for Steph Curry. I guess where I stop is this. Passing yards for a quarterback is like a fundamental stat of the position. When I look at a quarterback, I'm going to look at how many passing yards he has, how many passing TCs, and how many touchdowns he has. When I look at a running back, I'm going to look at, how many times does he rush for 1,000 yards? I don't even look at the touchdowns as much, just how many times he's rushed for 1,000 yards. When I look at a receiver, it's how many 100-yard catches does he have, or 100 catches does he have in a season, or how many 1,000-yard receiving yards does he have?
You don't care about yards after the catch?
That's a secondary stat. That's great.
That's great. Like, that's not something you focus on.
Correct.
Gotcha.
So as Steph Curry, I don't think he's like, I want to make 300 3-pointers this season and 500 the next season. I don't even think that was like a thought process for him, right? I think that was just, hey, this is the way I play the game. Jordan played the game this way. Shaq played the game this way. This is the way I play the game. And I might break the 3-point record on the process. But I think it was probably more important for him to say, I'm an NBA champion. I'm an NBA. I'm a NBA, MVP. I probably think those are a little higher than the 3-point mark. I don't, what I'm saying? Like, I don't even think when he won those MVPs, how many 3-point makes he had in the season was a primary stat and the reason why he won the MVP. So why are we celebrating it as much now when he breaks the all-time record? It's like, cool, he broke it, but it's not like he broke Kareem's record. Let's chill out a little bit with the hype. Tell congratulations. We don't have to give him a special jersey. Spike Lee, you don't have to take pictures behind him like somebody's mama. You can stand up, say congratulations.
That's my baby.
And move on, bro. Like, come on. It's not that significant of a record. Sorry.
There you have it. Well, I mean, it is a record that's getting him to like overall points, right? Like that will help him. You're getting 3 points versus 2. No, you're not buying that.
No, it's.
He said no. I love it, man.
No, man, it's like insignificant to me. It's an overblown record, and maybe I'm wrong. I need to hear from the basketball heads out there that say, "Oh, this is evolutionized the game, and this is the greatest thing ever." They make this sound like this was like Do you remember 1998 when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were breaking the home run record?
Mm-hmm.
And they were flying Roger Maris's family out all across the country because Mike McGwire might do it. Wait until they do it. Yeah, they done got
striked out.
Yeah, Roger Maris' son just want to chill. And they done brought his son, his kids, his aunties,
all kind of frequent flyer miles every goddamn game. This motherfucker never breaking the record.
Everywhere to break this record. And I'm like, I don't see that was a long-standing record. Like Roger Maris broke that in like the 60s, and that was 30 years plus. So Mark McGwire eventually broke that. And And then, Barry Bonds broke. And then the hype around Barry Bonds breaking, it wasn't as significant.
Right.
There's for a lot of reasons. But
yeah, that's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother episode. But partly because the record was like 3 years old, right? So, like, again, Steph Curry breaking this 10-year-old record. This record is as old as my daughter. Who cares? Like, that's great. I'm more impressed if he's breaking like the all-time scoring record, in my opinion.
All right, there it is.
I need to hear from y'all basketball heads, because I know y'all mad out there.
No, this is definitely going into the locker room, man. So, yeah. Anything else on this, man?
Congratulations, Steph.
Been Steph Curry with the shot, been cooking with the sauce, Chef Curry with the pot, boy.
Hold on. So let's hold on before we end it. Now, just kind of with that song, he is a cultural, like if you get in a song, right? Doesn't that help? Like, that's the whole push behind it. People are excited for him. I think he's just relatable, man.
I didn't say he wasn't a culture breaker. I didn't say anything like that. I love Steph Curry. I just don't think that record was very significant.
Well, there you have it, man. Anything else, man, before we get out of here? Because you have me cracking up, man.
Nah, I love you. I love Steph Curry.
Right? Yeah. Don't add us about this. This is just a perspective of the actual hype around it. And no, but
the hype of the record was a little overblown.
And I agree with you, man. And the celebration of it, and like that's all we talked about on Sports Center today. So like, there's plenty of stuff that you could talk about, because I definitely would have loved to hear more about, Dion and the stuff that he's doing and getting to recruit, that didn't get that highlight and how he's changing HBCU. So no, I agree with you with the celebration of it. So I can't wait to bring this in the locker room, man. All right, man. So hey, thank you to people for listening, man. I hope you enjoyed the show, man. We had to talk about Steph. So as MH said, congratulations, Steph, man. Please know we drop this is a special episode of the Locker Room, but just keep following us. Please keep supporting us, and stay safe, practice gratitude, and know we're rooting for you.
Screaming, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment until we even.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Look. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap and back.